Another day, another country decides that it's gonna attack Steam for no apparent other reason than to just hate gamers, hate Valve, hate Steam, and hate the things that we love. What a great time to be alive.
We have a little bit of an update to Steam and the adult NSFW games. Apparently, Steam is now going to be changing their rules and adding a requirement specifically for UK users. I want to specify that at the beginning of this video. This is only as of right now affecting UK users for Steam. Apparently, Steam users in the UK who want mature game content must now register a credit card on their accounts to prove that they are old enough. Now, for me, I don't see how any of this makes sense. I need to hear their reasoning, their thought process behind this. I need to hear their strategy because this has been.
I actually assume you know what this is. So, the UK can track and associate Steam accounts instantaneously with people who say bad things that they don't like, and they get taken away in the night. Actually, it's during the day in the UK. I mean, it's a dystopia without any of the good parts of the dystopia.
Happening for the longest time already. Credit cards have been saved to Steam accounts for the longest time, and they're still trying to say that underage kids are accessing Gouda materials supposedly and adult games, even though there are so many checks and balances that could stop that from happening. But apparently, these kids have gotten through all of them. So
The greatest check and balance is having patents. Clearly not enough.
you mean to tell me that a kid can't steal their parents' credit card, add it to their Steam account, and voila, they can access all these games you're supposedly saying they're accessing? I don't know. I just find this to be a little strange. So we're gonna go into this story. We're gonna see exactly what the thoughts are behind Steam and the strategy. But don't get it twisted. Valve is taking a simple supposed approach to the UK's Online Safety Act and says you have a credit card or you don't get in, basically. So Steam users in the UK who want access to mature content games or related community hubs are now required to have a valid credit card associated with their account. This new requirement was implemented to ensure Valve's compliance with the country's Online Safety Act, which mandates age checks in order to gain access to adult.
I love how people signed a petition against the Online Safety Act in the UK Parliament and just said, of course we're not gonna give a shit if you don't like this. It's beautiful.
Oriented
The downfall of the UK, sign me up.
online content. Now, I do find it hilarious that Steam is basically trying to, I don't want to say bend the knee necessarily to this whole situation because they have to do business in UK. That's probably a massive amount of money that they're going to be losing out if they try to say fuck off with this stuff, right? 4chan, on the other hand, obviously doesn't have that level of connection with the UK. They don't need them. Same thing with Kiwi Farms, which is why they're both suing them. But Steam is going to have to come up with a strategy that is going to be best for them and their business. So I get it. But this is not going to work. Like, I don't know what else to say, but this is simply just not going to work. If somebody wants to steal a credit card and use it and
It's not like the UK has not had a wide ranging history of doing things that just don't work. Great times.
and tie it to the account, then they're going to have easy access to do it. But in any case, registering a credit card is the only way to access adult content on Steam from within the UK. It's presumably more foolproof than the selfie system that proves susceptible to Dead Stranding's photo mode. So here's the funny thing. So they did have other options. They had the selfie mode, they had the ID and all that, but they found out that it was so easily broken by some of the most ridiculous things like Gary's mod and Dead Stranding's photo mode, then now they just made the requirement across the board for credit cards. So because obviously it's going to be hard to fake the credit card, obviously you could fake being the owner of the credit card, but
There's credit card number generators online. I mean, surely.
still, in any case, it's proved susceptible to Death Stranding's photo mode. But Valve said they're going this route also to preserve the maximum degree of user privacy. This is a major point of concern, as PC Gamer's Jacob Ridley wrote last month. The new age verification requirement is a potential privacy nightmare. Oh, it's not potential.
Damn, asmongold's probably pissing himself how happy he is that the digital ID is coming to at least one place already.
It's not potential. It's 100% a privacy nightmare. Because here's what's happening. They want to remove the anonymity from the internet. That's really what they want. They don't want people to be anonymous on the internet. They don't want people to have this level of anonymity, even though there is a lack of anonymity to some extent, right? To some extent, because everybody's information is somewhere. But at the end of the day, they don't want things like VTubers to exist. They don't want things like faceless channels to exist. You know, the YouTube channels that don't show their face or an avatar or anything, and they just comment on stuff and that's it. They use their voice. They don't want that. They want everything to be completely removed. They want you to be susceptible. They want you to be exposed. They want you to be seen and shown for whatever reason that may be. And in the UK, it seems like that reason is because they want to be able to control what you say and what you do. Because next thing you know, if you say something that's a little bit too much of a no no for the UK government, then, well, you're going to end up with a bunch of police at your doorstep.
The elite police brigade. They put an elite task force for this one, boys, okay?
Asking why you've been such a naughty boy on social media. How dare you say those mean words? That's violence, you know? So that's really what they want. But anyway, the data process and the
Based
verification
violence.
process is identical to that of the millions of other Steam users who make purchases or store their payment details for convenience, Valve explained. The verification process therefore provides no information about a user's content preferences to payment providers or other third parties. Okay, so I get it. Okay, I get it. I could see where Steam is coming from now that we've read it a little bit. I can see their strategy at this point in time by verifying with a credit card. It doesn't give them any other information, not a selfie of yourself, not a government ID of yourself. It's just a credit card. So I get it. I understand. This is the lesser evil of all the other evils, but it still fucking sucks at the end of the day. Let's be real. And the UK online safety
An evil is still an evil. We have answered these questions for, I mean, generations, for thousands of years, since the epics of Gilgamesh. That an evil is still an evil. If you need to become an equivalent or greater evil to take down the current evil, it's not worth even fucking doing. Because you're just creating another evil to replace and make things worse. This is not a solution.
Act. I genuinely hope they get felted by Kiwi Farms and 4chan in their lawsuit because they are obviously trying to perform overreach here while they can. So, requiring a credit card also relieves Valve of the responsibility of doing any actual age checks. In the UK, an individual must be at least 18 years of age to obtain a credit card. Therefore, credit card issuers are obliged to verify the age of an applicant before providing them with a credit card. Why is nobody talking about the elephant in the room? Why is nobody here talking about the fact that a child could steal their parents' credit card? Why is that not even being brought up here? Are we really that dense? Are we really that stupid?
Well, when it comes to UK and children, the less people talk about anything happening to them, the typically better it is.
Like, I don't listen, whatever. If they think this is going to fix it and this makes the UK back off of Steam, then whatever. But you got to be a moron if you think this is going to fix anything. You really do. You got to be an absolute idiot. And I rather you be an idiot. That way you could think this is going to work and then move on with your day and go fuck yourself. The update announcing a new age verification requirement doesn't break down what counts as mature content games. Well, that's because mature content games is whatever they want to feel like as mature content. That's really what it is. Whatever they want to feel
Well, on Steam, it's already marked what's mature and what's not. But in the UK, I guess it don't know.
is mature content. That's what they're going to label as mature content. That's what they're going to restrict you from, right? So those games that may look, may make certain politicians look bad. Well, you can't have that. But games that will glorify, illegal immigration and all kinds of,
Base.
certain ideology that might veer
God damn, I'm already drooling about the next border crossing simulator, boys. What a time to be a time.
heavily to the left, well, that's okay. You could buy that all day long. Please buy those games. That's basically where they're going to go with this. It's only a matter of time before the non Gooter games become a problem, even though some of them have already become a problem, if they're horror games, for example.
Eh.
But as best I can tell, the restriction only applies to games marked adult only. Games rated PEGI 18, since we're pretending to be in the UK, still show up in search results and are fully accessible, but sex games do not. I logged into my account while still connected through the VPN, and sex games started showing up in search results. Logged out, and they were gone again. PEGI 18 games were there either way. So basically, if you want to play a game that lets you walk into a crowded airport with an M249 and air out a couple hundred people, maybe set up some bombs or whatever, that's cool. But if you want to look at some
True.
cartoon titties, well, I'm afraid that's over the line because sure, why not? Some folks on Reddit via RPS say Steam will also accept debit cards for age verification, which is good for anyone without a credit card. While minors in the UK can have debit cards, other Redditors say it won't do them any good as far as getting around Steam's age gate because cards issued to minors are on a different account type. So it looks like they are going to turn it into something where you can also have debit cards too, which is a huge plus. People were talking about that, so that's good. Interestingly, I was able to access
Wait, can't you actually already use debit cards on Steam? My card is a debit card. I have never owned a credit card.
sex games while logged into my account and VPNing from London, even though I don't have a credit card registered. I thought I might be getting a backdoor verification because of the age of my Steam account. It's an oldie, but Tom Warren of The Verge indicated that's not the case. Presumably, it's because even though I appear to be logging in from the UK, my account is located in Canada. Steam actually gave me a hassle about that when I tried to sign in, so I get a pass. Microsoft has also begun rolling out age verification requirements for Xbox owners in the UK.
Well, actually, this is not going to be a problem for the UK for much longer because at the end of the day, they're not gonna have VPNs for long. If you use the VPN in the good old United Kingdoms of no one cares, well, you're gonna go to prison. But then again, you're going to prison for pretty much everything in the UK nowadays anyway, so I'm not sure if that's a game breaker, a deal breaker, or anything like that. I think that's just another Monday.
It's currently optional, but will become mandatory in early 2026. A petition calling for the repeal of the Online Safety Act now stands at more than
LOL. They already. Again, the UK Parliament, and yes, UK is a parliamentary place where the Parliament gets to decide everything, not the President. Does the UK even have a president? Because some places are like parliamentary countries, but they still have president as a figurehead for representing the country in some ways. So I wonder. I wonder. Anyway, these signatures mean nothing. There's a bigger chance that all the people who signed this thing are gonna get thrown in prison than anything actually comes of this. UK is gone.
530,000 signatures. 530,000 signatures. That's a lot of people. But the government has said in its formal response that it has no plans to repeal the Online Safety Act and is working closely with Ofcom to implement the act as quickly and effectively as possible to enable UK users to benefit from its protections. Oh, God, man. When the government says, I am here to help you, I will protect you, that is the biggest lie that the government can ever tell you. Okay. They are trying to
Always has
enact this
been.
as quickly and effectively as possible because they need to act quickly before this is ever challenged in court, before this is ever challenged in general.
Like, what do you mean challenged in court? No, no, no. This is a misconception. All of the UK court systems are in support of this. If something of this gets, if some of this gets challenged in court, I mean, it's gonna fail. It's gonna go exactly the way the government wants it because all the court systems are, downstream for the government in the UK. These court systems arguably are actually versed in the government in the terms how absolutely woke they are.
Overseas. They're trying to overreach with this as much as they possibly can because that way they can enable maximum control and power before it gets challenged. And then by the time it gets challenged, well, it's too late. They've already gotten as much power as they can from it. And that's basically it. What an absolute joke, man. They're like, yeah, we want to hurry this up so that the UK users can benefit from our protections. Get out of here, bro. Adding a credit card to your Steam account is going to protect you. No, it's not. We
Absolutely based. Anyway, that was Hypnotic 10 out of 10. Bye!